Good day. Ron McFarland here from CMTC, and our topic of the day is the CSET and the Ransomware Readiness Assessment, the RRA tool. Now, CSET, of course, as we've in general, is applicable to IT and industrial control systems likewise. CSET enables the user to perform a comprehensive evaluation of their cybersecurity posture using many recognized government and industry standards, the NIST 800-171, the DFARS, the CIS controls, etc. So it's all kind of bundled in, as we've already discussed. CISA has a new model in the CSET, in that submodule is called the Ransomware Readiness Assessment. RRA is a self-assessment based on a tiered set of practices to help organizations better to handle and equip and recover from ransomware issues that they may run into. The Ransomware Readiness Assessment helps organizations to evaluate their cybersecurity posture, especially in terms of ransomware. Secondly, it guides asset owners and operators through a systematic process to evaluate their own operational technology. And third, it provides an analysis dashboard with graphs and tables that represent the assessment results. So at the end of the assessment, I'm going to do a walkthrough on the CSET using the RRA just to get started. But there's several reports that you can generate, and it has nice graphs that can be included in a, let's say, master report. The current download of the CSET tool is located on GitHub, and I'll share out this slide presentation so you can have this link. The current version is 10.3. So you download 10.3 from GitHub. It does a nice smooth job. It uses a web interface for the screens. Everything's XML based on this particular module. It'll also step through and ask you to install IIS if you don't have it, and SQL Server Lite. But one of the key items I want to emphasize on this screen is when you get past entering in the client name and information, the assessor's name and information, make sure that when you get to this screen, you check the maturity model. I've got that highlighted, and also I'll note it on the video as well. I'll key in all this information. This is pretty much the usual stuff. And add site information. Key in all this information. And scroll down, you'll see on one of the screens, you'll see 4 items. On the bottom is the RRA. I'll walk through this on the next video that's going to be inserted. So once you click the RRA Next button, the RRA first opens with a tutorial. And up on top, you'll see 3 tabs: Prepare, the Assessment, and the Results. On the Prepare, it has the Readiness tutorial, which is about 2 pages worth of content. The assessment, if you click next on the tutorial or up on the assessment tab, it'll take you to the assessment screens. And we'll walk through that in the inserted tutorial that I'll have, the live tutorial. And a few notes from the tutorial. Ransomware, as we know, is malware. Malicious actors then demand ransom, which we know. The Ransomware Readiness Assessment helps us communicate to the client about the cybersecurity posture and the protections against ransomware. Likewise, there's several documents, if you will, noted in here. The Joint Ransomware Guide, it's hyperlinked in the tutorial. I've also put it in the references at the end of this PowerPoint. CISA released in January the, quote, Reduce the Risk of Ransomware campaign, which is also linked in this presentation. And CISA also has a fact sheet called Rising Ransomware Threat to Operational Technology, OT. Let's see, the RRA, it's very much like the other controls. You'll see this button right here. Let me wiggle the mouse over here. It gives you this AM:I period Q03. That would be, it's made up of the goal, the GG is the AM. The level, BIA, basic, intermediate, advanced, so this is intermediate. And the question number, question 3 out of the intermediate, the AM control set. So the asset management level, intermediate, question number 3. And that's how it's all structured. Okay, RRA, again, from the tutorials designed for best practices in tiers, basic, intermediate, and advanced. Secondly, to assist an organization to understand its current state of readiness, and also to project forward what it really needs to do, what that organization needs to do to shore up their ransomware responses as well as readiness. And third, to assist the organization with implementing a focused path for remediation or improvement. The implementation approach for the RRA, many organizations are very unfamiliar with ransomware. Maybe they've heard about it in the news. The threat should focus on implementing a basic tier process. Secondly, after completing the basic tier process is a step forward, a stepwise refinement path that is also demonstrated in some of the reports. And third, organizations that already have adopted a basic and intermediate level RRA practices can continue and move through the advanced tier. And answering the RRA in the video that I'll insert in this presentation, I go over this a little bit more. This is very much like the other portions of the CSET, yes or no, depending on what the client responds or with your help, yes or no. That flag will help flag that particular item, whether it's a yes or no, and that flagged item can be, all the flagged items can be put out on a report. For example, if you do have a yes and the client says, well, I think it's a yes, but I'm not sure. If you marked it a yes, you could always flag it for a review afterwards. Better yet, maybe mark it as a no and flag it with other additional information that you receive from the client. So that's one way, and we've done that with the CSET already. Additional supporting items, the guidance is provided in the tool set. I go over that as well in this next video snippet. The comments, you can make comments. The artifacts, there's two ways you can add artifacts. One is a document where perhaps it's policies, procedures, practices, documents, whether it's a PDF or docx. Or if you have screenshots, that's put under the light bulb, if you will. I like to call it a light bulb icon where you can put JPEG or PNG graphics that will be a screenshot from perhaps their system. And those are artifacts that you'll want to keep for an auditing purpose, of course. And starting the RRA, we can see right here, we'll walk through this in the video insert in just a second. And here's the first one that talks about the robust data backup attributes. That has two controls that are related to that, and I walk through that. And finally, in this PowerPoint are the references, which link not only to the documents that are noted in the RRA, but additional resources that I use to present and prepare for this PowerPoint presentation. So let me go ahead and spin on into the video, and afterwards we'll see how that goes. Getting started with the CSET and a subsequent RRA, what you'll do is, of course, start the CSET tool, click on New Assessment, and I'm going to just call this one Test CSET RRA 3 for grins. Date's automatically populated. Facility name, I'm just going to call it Test. I'll put it in Santa Maria, California. What the heck? And make sure that you click the maturity model right here. And next, continue. Demographics, all of these items on this screen are pretty standard. So I'm going to go ahead and pick DIB, Defense Industrial Base. I'm going to just grab defense contractors. What is the gross value? I'll set that to greater than 10 million. Let's say if we're doing a three-phase project, more than 3 weeks. Name of the organization, I'm going to just key in test. What the heck? Doesn't matter at this point. The organization type, industry, facilitator, I'll use the default on this setup. So these are all the default items I'm going to populate here. Click on Next. On this screen you'll see 4 items: ACET, CMMC, EDM, and down at the bottom, Ransomware Readiness Assessment. When you click that and select Next, it'll take you into, now let me scroll up, the Ransomware Readiness tutorial. And like I had mentioned earlier, it gives you a lot of information about the RRA. The assessment is the next item on next tab up, or you can click Next. And as you'll see on the Ransomware CSET Readiness Assessment, we'll have several items listed here. The robust data backup, web browser management and DNS, phishing prevention, network perimeter monitoring, asset management, patch and update management, user and access management, application integrity, incident response, and risk management. And each one of these items has a drop-down. So looking through this robust data backup, now this first one, DB:B period Q01, are important systems and data backed up daily to an offsite location with the ability to restore multiple versions back at least 30 days. And let's just say yes for grins. Again, yes, no, and this flag is right here. This control requires further review. In other words, if you click that, even if it's yes or no, you can have this item, let's say if the client says, yeah, I think so, click the review flag, and then you can generate it so it can run a review flag report, if you will. So I'm going to unselect that review flag right there. And some of the options are real similar. Well, it's part of the CSET. The supplemental guidance right here, if you hit the G, gives you all the information regarding this control. The ellipsis right here, you can put any kind of comments that, let's say, the client may have. Some general comments. This document item, this third one over, you can add perhaps policies, procedures that will support this. The next item, it looks like 3 books, one being tipped over. So this is your library. NIST 853, 834, CIS Control 11, protecting data from ransomware and other loss events, and CRR supplemental resources. So that's your library item, the 4th icon over. And this next item that looks like a light bulb, add an observation. This is where perhaps we could add screenshots and those type of items as well. So adding an observation is really kind of geared. I would say these are real similar. The document, the observation, the way I would parse that out is the document link right here. It's add a document. It's looking for either a PDF or a Word document, whereas this light bulb item could be a JPEG or a PNG file. This last item here is some additional notes that you want to make. So you could have on these ellipses, you could have, let's say, customer notes, and over on this notepad item, your notes as an assessor. So that's how that would work. Again, there's several of these areas. Each have a drop down. This one has 4 items here, and the icons are all the same. So there you have it for a quick walkthrough on the CSET, the RRA portion. So there you have it, a quick rundown on the CSET and the Ransomware Readiness Assessment Tool. It's easy to use and pretty much aligns with what we've already done with the CSET tool. So there you go. Enjoy, and I will see you soon.